Alright, I've had a few people wanting me to give a formal, I guess, like, walkthrough of what the hell makes Gold Paladin so good in Premium. Can't believe I'm making this. So, let's dig into this. So, Criff is going to be your starter. Here you go. Or our 5-card hand. Alright, so this is... we got our 5 resources over here. Our opponent has stood up their Vanguard. Okay, cool. So, you're going to go ahead... draw for turn, go to 6 cards in hand. Knowing your luck, much as like mine, you go ahead and you've gone first. You ride, you do your thing. Our opponent over here has got their 5 cards. Now at this stage, you're going to go ahead and they ride, they draw their card, they drive check. Here, for sake of argument. Cool, they've drive checked. Cool. We've done it. We're going to 1 damage at this stage in time. You know, we have 5 cards in our hand. Alright, so this is where the deck starts to shine. So we've got 1 damage at this stage in the game. So we're going to go ahead and just start laughing at our opponent. And the only way that we know how to start laughing at our opponent is we ride the Bowmains. Bowmains skill, you go ahead and discard card from your hand. Bowmains goes ahead and says, oh, that's really cute. Go ahead and Superior Call Gareth. Now at this stage in the game, our opponent's probably like, oh no, like what are we gonna do? So you go ahead and use your old starter skill. This is where you don't have to have, you know, our friend, the new Ezel. So you go ahead and you're like, oh cool, I'm gonna go ahead and bring out Ezel. Now at this point in time, Ezel does its thing and opens up an Excel circle up here. Now, this is why this is important, because now we're at grade 3, our opponent is at grade 1, as you can see here, and we've opened up our first Excel circle. Now, we're just the badass that we are, and we also opened up Tarna here. So Tarna skill, since we have a standing Ezel Vanguard, we're going to go ahead and Superior Ride another Ezel from our deck. And since we've done that, we literally will open up another Excel circle over here. Now, 95% of the time at this point, like, I'll probably call another card up here to an Excel circle. And now, 95% of the time, they're going to have to pressure things. Now, let's call it what it is. You're probably just better at your opponent than you realize you are. And you've opened up double Tarna. So, Tarna will once again go ahead and re-Superior Ride another Ezel from your deck. By the way, you've deck thinned to 2 at this point, so don't even feel bad about your life. You've opened up another Excel circle. So now, that's like maximum scenario, like, I'm not quite that lucky, but for argument's sake, you know, we'll go on like the medium range here. So you've gone ahead and you're like, oh cute, like I opened up the Vivian. You're like, cool, I'm going to call the Vivian next to my Vanguard. You're going to go ahead and do your skill. And then at this stage, you'll probably call something a little bit more worthless. It's me, I always get the second Gareth off of this. So, you've gone ahead, you've got 3 full roll attacks. Your opponent is at grade 1. Best case scenario, you swing with the Vivian, which is now 12. You go ahead, that is our 1 counter blast, and our 1 soul blast. So you go ahead, you're like, okay, cool. So swing with this is 12. My opponent either hits the defense trigger or doesn't hit the defense trigger. Cool. You know, like, they got a Zombaku at this point. So then you just kind of continue on along with your day. You're like, oh, cool, 18. And then you go, I usually swing with Vanguard next. Now, if you have another good card from your hand that you want to call, this is where you can be really cute. If your opponent's just taking damage, you can call the Sagramore from the hand. The Sagramore will trigger what you Soul Blast 1 to draw a card. You clear off the Excel circle up here. Usually by the time that this turn is gone, your opponent's probably eaten 3 to 4 damage, or they've eaten massive amounts of cards from their hand. And this is the point that I just want to make to most people. It's like, your opponent's riding to 2. Either they're going to swing at Vanguard or they're going to target one of your other rear guards. And I mean, at this point in time, you're either going to go here with this, or you're going to unload your hand and, you know, make an attempt to kind of clean up the mess that you've started. So, cool, I go to 2 damage. Now, this is where this starts to get really absurd, because like if I'm walking into this as my next turn, I've probably got 2 or 3 cards in my hand, which doesn't really matter. So ditch, stride. Now your opponent's at 2, so we just go into the freest stride ever 95% of the time, which is literally just a gain quad drive guy. Now usually at this stage you can once again repeat the pattern, call up stuff that you need. But once again, I mean, your opponent's at this, so I mean, like 9 to 9 is still free, essentially. This might not be able to hit anymore. I mean, this still can, but for the most part, you get Gurgoate Helios while your opponent's still at 3. Like fundamentally, that is why your deck is good. Now, second stride, you got a couple of options. You can Gurgle it again. If you're playing against Lock, you have this. I mean, call it what it is. If your opponent survives, like, past this, if you want to aggro your opponent on second and call, like, 3 units, you can. I like to save this for the third stride if need, because, like, you should be winning at that stage. Like, you drop this on the field when you have literally this face up in your G zone. You're like, oh, cool, I'll flip myself. Oh, so I get to call 5 units, and that, like, if you have double Excel Circle, like, feel free to call up on the board, essentially however you want at this stage, because the aggression that you'll be putting out on your opponent is so crazy that you should be winning. And then, of course, like, if you've gone Helios, 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 and Helios at this point, your options at this stage, and W Slasher was telling me how bad I was for this. You have this as another finisher. I mean, yeah, you go ahead and use your skill, flip this up. Everybody getting that 10k power boost, which, I mean, call it what it is for the aggression purposes, especially like against Gize or something like that. That 10k boost can make or break a game. Now, you can also, by all stages in the game, if you don't want to finish your opponent that way, you can always put everything on the line and go into Ultima. Now, I heard a couple of people being like, hey, Robbie, you should probably be playing a stand trigger or 2. No, no thank you. Between the trigger lineup that we currently have with 8 crits, 4 draw, 4 heal, I don't want to risk my playstyle on hitting a random bad stand trigger. I mean, like, there are good Gold Paladin stand triggers out there, and I understand, like, yeah, you can get more attacks with this, but it's like, if I'm going into Ultima, depending on the situation at hand, I should be winning, I feel. And plus, like, the 2 units I call, like, I can just call more copies of these, you know, like, obviously they're not, Sagramore won't trigger because he'll be from on-hand call, but, like, it is what it is at this stage. Like, if you're going into this, this is going to be your aggressor. Now, oddly enough, the game state can go, I mean, okay, guys, listen to me here. When you get that extra 20k on everything in the front row, you're punishing your opponent. That's why Ultima is good. Now, once again, considering what it's worth, you also have this guy giving 4 units the ability to, once again, further along the game state and aggro your opponent. Like, that's why this is good. Like, your whole Stride resource deck is going to just be you meeting Unite continuously and aggressing your opponent. Like, you're an aggro deck. I don't know how many people actually kind of failed to understand that. It's kind of why I want to play another of the Unflipper, just because it's like getting into this faster. Like, your deck doesn't burn with how fast. It's ironic. Like, you figured you would be burning up like a Nova with how fast you go in this deck, but like getting to GB8 is actually not that hard. It's kind of strange. But this should probably put you in a little bit more of a mindset with the things that I was going for with this deck. You're very aggressive. It's very much like old Revengers. So many people hated the way that I used to play that deck, but it works because of how quick you're trying to be. Now, I mean, there'll be some games where you might not get Spear right off. Trust me, I've got there. You know, you'll have to play Vanguard. That's why you have other ways to play the deck. Take it for what it's worth. So just because you don't always get to Bowmain's Spear Ride to Ezel doesn't mean that it's bad. So, but that should put you guys in a little bit more of the right mindset. Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Disagree with me, agree with me. I'd like to hear your guys' comments on this. And well, guys, I'm out. Peace. That's not all, card fighters. Please subscribe for more Cardfight Vanguard content. Please remember to check out MCole40 for Yu-Gi-Oh videos, and please check out mcolegames.com, my store, along with No Limit Gaming and lgtcg.com for all of your guys' trading card game needs as well. Until next time, guys, remember to hit that subscribe button. Later.